Always nice when these final games go into game 3.
Yeah, I mean that's why these players are in the winners bracket. They're both very good. They're both going to be pretty evenly matched. So it's good to see we are going to end up in our rubber match today. Looking at our best of 3 series, game number 3, PBHead, YerAnd. I can't do the intro right now. My brain's just a little fried apparently. This is an interesting little silicon aluminum combination going on here, considering there's no aluminum in this game whatsoever. 5 tiles, 9 silicon. Philithanic is still here because I just skipped his part of the intro too. 1 geotherm, expensive power, chem colony.
This map is just awkward. Like there's the only adjacency that you have really is that, other than water, which is everywhere, that aluminum and then the carbon. So
yeah, I don't mind taking the non-adjacent high irons though. PB does in fact end up dropping expansive near the aluminum. YerAnd is going to be relying on just a medium aluminum. Underground nukes are available to fight that, but YerAnd did drop robotic, so he's going to be less dependent on that resource than some. Be really interesting to see who gets to that upgrade first right now, as PB should be gathering in an awful lot of cash off these 2 aluminum mines for the time being. Oh, nukes could be fun this game.
Oh, nukes will be fun for us. They'll be painful for the players.
The black market is online.
Thankfully, I'm not playing, so I'm just going to enjoy them. Oh boy, I have no idea what's going to happen from here. Like, YerAnd has decent access to a plot of silicon above him, but it's all low. He does have good access to water. That's not going to be an issue.
Everybody has good access to water, no matter where you found it.
Yeah, water's everywhere. This particular match, once again, nukes are available. No core samples to deal with it this time, but both power surges and slowdown strikes. PB's actually moved out of his aluminum. He gathered up an awful lot of it, sold it down, moved out of it to go ahead and get into this steel, as he was just a little short on what he needed to upgrade based off the aluminum this game. So YerAnd can get to the upgrade first, although, where was that?
It was on PBHead's iron.
Iron. Aggressive. That's what I'm going to go with. And unsuccessful is the other word I would actually use for that, because PB did manage to get to HQ2. He can easily put down another high iron tile. That's exactly what he's going to do. And that shouldn't be a problem. YerAnd, meanwhile, going to be trying to make money on power, something PB locked himself out of with that 28,000 debt found.
Yeah, so we might see a repeat of the old power situation of last game, but what will be different is PBHead deciding to get in on the nukes.
Yep, already hits onto YerAnd's iron. PB is also, it looks like, both players selling down steel quite rapidly. PB trying to buy that iron up as much as he can, which is not particularly impressive, since no player has any cash whatsoever. But YerAnd, with this power coming online, I think he's actually going to be all set. If he can get these wind turbines up, get them active, PB's not going to have the cash to really shut them down effectively.
Not the cash, not the cooldown either, so they'll be running for at least 20 seconds, probably more, due to that cash situation.
Yeah, and it's not a huge income, but that's kind of okay, because there's not a lot of money to be made on the map just yet. Food starting to get a bit better with these habitats, chem starting to get a bit better with these labs, but not a whole lot of pressure just yet. PB's actually moved out of steel completely and is heading on back into his aluminum mines for the time being. Now is making a move into solar panels too, but might be a little late and certainly not going to make much money.
No, this amount of power production at this early in the game, HQ2 sold to, there is no power consumption from the colony. It's just the players providing the price pressure on this power, so it's going to drop rapidly.
It will indeed. Game auctions off arguably the least desirable high water tile on this map. PB's going to pick that up for 10,000.
I would have been tempted to let that one go.
Yeah, honestly, if that got to 9 and YerAnd was on it, I definitely would have let that go, because that's 9,000 cash he would not have from this power money. He's not making a huge amount from it. Once again, only 250 per second. Pretty low for somebody making money from power. But it is more than PB's making, that's for sure, and it's going to let YerAnd go ahead and move up to HQ level 3 as soon as he likes, just currently trying to work on a fuel punish for PB right now.
Yeah, YerAnd putting down this single solar panel just to give some adjacency to his robot blob.
Also just a nice little boost to power.
That too. Hurts PBHead with his... Well, PBHead only decided to go into one solar panel, so not as much money spent on going to power as it initially looked like.
No, and also YerAnd dropping that solar panel will give PB just a little more cash, and every little bit can count in a game where players are just scrambling to try and get tiny bits of cash, very, very low prices on a lot of their upgrades, but very high prices on the glass in particular, making things a little difficult. So every little bit of money counts right now.
YerAnd is the first to HQ3 on this rather slow game, with Sol 3 before that first player hits HQ3, moving into 2 farms and 1 high water. That food price is real. The high fuel price is a little bit artificial, as we mentioned earlier. PBHead already in C debt on Sol 3.
Yep, he's been very successful in acquiring that because of this fuel situation. He actually has a solar panel down on top of that high water that he picked up in the crater, so not the most effective solar panel, but he does have a little bit of power coming in at least. But still, YerAnd been making money on power this whole time, moves into food very cleanly. That's going to be some fantastic profits for him. No debt, 25,000 in cash right now. He's looking to be in a great spot, even as PB hits level 3.
PBHead starting to move into some food himself. Also 2 glass kilns. Glass is pretty high, and with that silicon, PBHead will be able to power his glass. The only issue is he needs some of that glass for the upgrade. Won't be able to turn it into pure cash.
Congratulations.
That's true, but it will make his upgrade a little bit easier to hit. The problem that I have with what PB's doing is he just keeps getting so much debt. I was sitting here thinking, all right, well, PB's not in that bad a spot if it weren't for the debt, but the debt's pretty bad, and now he just makes the situation so much worse. Yes, water engine might help out with his fuel costs, but at this point, interest is what he has to be terrified of. 104,000, and his farms have been taken down. PB needs to do something about this rapidly in order to survive this game. Otherwise, we're just going to see another game where PBHead can't quite handle debt. Just a little too much of the old school play in him, it would seem.
I keep on hearing about these mythical old days when debt didn't matter, but that was before my time.
It was indeed. Oh, trust me, debt used to be nothing. Winning with $1 million debt, you could do that no problem in the right situation. These days, it's a little bit more difficult.
YerAnd upgrades to HQ4 as PBHead power surges YerAnd's farms. YerAnd doesn't mind too much as he doesn't consume any of that food. It's just wasted, just a lost income from the power surge. Annoying, but not as bad as it could be. YerAnd moving into a pleasure dome with a expansive on the map. 2 pleasure domes. Each of these pleasure domes will be making a single one 119 cash.
Just 2 nukes right in a row on PB's water. Honestly, that might be a bit of a boon for PB, as he kind of took the wrong water at the start of this game. Yeah, he grabbed the one that was absolutely the closest to his base for the highest, but there's actually 2 adjacent high tiles, just a little bit further to the south, so maybe PB's attention will be redirected that way in order to pick up his water. Potentially a bit of a boon there, which he desperately needs. 141,000 in debt, took a 23,000 interest tick very recently. Got a lot of cash, but really needs it to get to that upgrade.
YerAnd moving into a hacker array is, instead of the double pleasure dome, just going to try and start hacking some of these markets, keep his advantage, and maybe clean this game up when PBHead upgrades from 3 to 4.
A new claim is available for option.
Yeah, definitely should be a nice tool for YerAnd to have access to. Arguably a little early to be in the hacker array, but with these energy shortages, that could certainly compound PB's problem. Still in just the 1 solar panel, and why are you taking an $18,000 claim? PB, we need to have an intervention at some point. Honestly, I don't understand.
Where is this claim?
Oh boy. Well, regardless, PB is going to be moving into double high waters. to make sure that he can get his food online, but YerAnd is just going to...
shuts it down.
Yep.
YerAnd is 68, almost 70% of the money he needs to buy PBHead. He's going to be thinking about starting that aggression very soon.
Absolutely. Needs to get his farms turned back on. That's why I don't like auto-off sometimes. He could just take the upgrade. I wouldn't mind it too much. There is an easy source of cash in these chems because the colony has been very dedicated this game. It wants laboratories. That's all Berlin is interested in right now. It just wants the laboratories. So chemicals are a fantastic tool. Reasonable to upgrade to go ahead and be able to take advantage of that, in my opinion. Also very reasonable to see if YerAnd can close it out on HQ4. Not sure which way he's going to try and go with it just yet, but it's looking like he wants to just save the cash and work this hacker raid to the end.
PBHead making a interesting decision, interesting is the word I'll use, by instead of putting that low water tile as a solar or something, 2 electrolysis reactors away from his base.
Yeah, I mean, they're very profitable buildings, but of course he's not going to see any of those anytime soon, and I tell you, he's not going to see any of them ever, because YerAnd, after just a little bit of stock manipulation, is 3 seconds away from going ahead, getting that majority buy on PB. Way too much debt for PB to handle, and let's see, how much exactly was it? At $245,000 of debt. PB eats a very early majority buy, Sol 5, 4 hours and 10 minutes. Game 3 is going to go to YerAnd, and that means he will be taking our series and moving ahead, I believe, to the winner's bracket just about finals. Kind of. Look, the bracket's a little weird, but it's basically the winner's bracket finals.
Yes, he'll be moving into the winner's bracket final, so we have... Okay, yeah. He has to win 1 game against somebody from the loser's bracket before getting into the finals. But back to this game first.
Yeah, back to this game. What else is there to look at?
Where the debt came from, I guess.
Well,
other than...
auctions, I actually think, is the answer to that for the most part.
Auctions
and interest.
Auctions and interest with a smattering of help everywhere else. Just looking at the purchases for PBHead, 31k in food, 15k in fuel, 17k in oxygen, 29k in power. Those little bits of it all across the board will add up.
Yeah, it was less missing out on any one thing when it came to debt, it seems, and missing out on just everything. And while none of it in and of itself was particularly harmful, stacking them all together, they certainly did add up to that very quick loss.
Then PBHead's founding location was not worth anywhere near 28,000.
No, clearly not. I mean, I think YerAnd made the right call in grabbing the robotic colony in particular. He found a decent location to make it work. He never actually made more than 2 steel mills active, I think, at any given point. He had just the 1 iron mine. Made it work because, in particular, in a game where upgrades are going to be slow, they're going to be difficult, they're going to be arduous to get to, you just don't need as much steel, you don't need as much aluminum. It's because those resources are just going to automatically flood and things are going to be okay. So really nicely played from YerAnd, I have to say. We were harping on PB's in a lot of debt, making some errors.
Yeah, YerAnd
difficult situation. YerAnd played it really well.
YerAnd compounded those errors with 5 black market hits against PBHead versus PBHead's 2 back at YerAnd. Really abusing that power surge. 3 power surges over the course of 3 in-game days. And a couple of nukes.
Yeah, a couple of nukes here and there. Those went onto the water tiles, forced PB to reposition. Honestly, I didn't like some of the black market use all that much. The water was fine. It wasn't great because there was so much of it elsewhere. PB didn't really do a great job transitioning, which helped out. I really didn't like the HQ1 power surge.
No, that one...
And it was really impressive to me that YerAnd was able to do that and yet just keep up in the game, quite frankly. Because it did basically nothing.
He was able to do that because PBHead thought he could purchase his way into steel, and turns out he wasn't able to purchase enough steel to make his founding location work.
Yeah, and that was a little strange for PB, but just a little bit of difficulty on the found kept things a little more even, I suppose. But still, though, overall, very well played by YerAnd. A nice HQ4 victory. Good job identifying an HQ4 victory was in reach with that hacker array in particular, making it work very well.